And with that, we are back. Midway Radio. It's Monday night, so we've actually been doing a really good, got a really good track record lately of finally doing shows on a more consistent basis. So, thank you, everybody. Some things have been falling into place. That's nice.
I'm here
so
for
tonight,
you,
what's up?
I'm here for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all because of you, Risky. Thank you.
I'm just saying I'm here for you. I can not be, but I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Just for Ryan or what?
Yeah, no, fuck all y'all. I'm just here for Ryan.
Yeah, Midway, this is our 27th episode. So we've been doing this for just over a year now. Our first show was with Doug Infinite back last August. I'm trying to think what the let me see if I can pull up what that date was.
And you know what it means, Poz being the 27th guest, right?
Number 7 up in this piece, or what?
27. You know what it means to be the 27th guest?
No, I don't.
Absolutely fucking nothing.
I didn't think so.
I
know you had something special for me.
That being said, we do appreciate you being here today, sir.
Yeah, we do.
Well, yeah. I appreciate being had. Holy.
That sounded really weird.
That's what she said.
All right, this is the route we're going, huh?
Yes.
You should be used to it out of the camp you come out of.
Yeah, usually I'm a little more, prepared, but I'll get there.
It's all right. August 15th of last year was our very first show with Doug Infinite. So this is we're a year in and 27 episodes in. I don't know if that's good or not.
I think it's good.
I guess the fact that we've been doing it for that long is a good thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway, as we usually do, let's kick this off here with some updates. First, do introductions. Risky Business co-producer and our lead researcher here on Midway, the story of Chicago hip hop. What's up?
Yes. Once again, I am glad to be doing another one, and I'm very glad to be talking to Sean and you and Poz tonight. So
you should be glad to talk to all of us every time.
Tonight, particularly. Yeah. Maybe not tomorrow.
Also from the Midway team, we've got our another producer, researcher, and designer, and does a lot of things, Sean Doe.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here.
Is that an old school Fila hat, or is that a new Fila hat?
Actually, it's a new Fila hat, but this is old school. Sure, you guys will appreciate this.
Nice,
my friend.
Very nice.
I just got yeah. I know you Star Wars fans.
Never heard of it.
I never seen it.
Cool. And our guest tonight from the legendary, legendary 7 Odds crew. We got PozLyrix in the house. What's
up, man? Man, chilling, man. I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Cool, man. Thanks for joining.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, before we get into you, let's do a couple of quick updates here. What we got going on with Midway? Kind of the same old for the time being. Interviews, doing some stuff behind the scenes. We can't talk about, and so yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say tonight. It's been a really, really long day and long weekend. So I'm gonna try to not sound like a complete jackass. But interviews since our last show, we did Ruthless Rod, aka Brother Rod, and people may remember him, Ruthless Rod and MC Dollar. What was the name of that EP? Louder Than a Banshee.
Louder Than a Banshee, 1988 or 89. Yeah. A really good interview, obviously. Wouldn't you say, Sean?
Yeah, like when you said Louder Than a Banshee, all I can think of is what the fuck is a banshee? Like, but yeah, no, it was very good, and like he was able to bless us with 16 bananas. Yeah, like he didn't skip a beat. Bananas. big ups to that guy.
Yeah, it was, you know, and we say, like, I know I constantly say, oh, it's a really good interview, but I can honestly say we haven't really had any really bad interviews. And I guess maybe that comes from me personally having a personal interest in everyone's story. It's just, I really think obviously everybody's so individual. It's clearly going to be, you know, the scenario for each one, but the stories are really, really interesting. And then it's interesting on how actually people connect. And I guess, you know, I'm not going to give anything away as we see when we start putting the film together, but there are a lot of, you'll see how connected we really are that we don't think we are.
What's crazy about what we're doing is that I kind of look at what we're doing like I'm viewing the film before it's made. So when I go in and not know who that person is, like I didn't know who Ruthless Rod was. So when he came in, you know, I had my brain was clear. I just knew he was an MC from back in the day. So when he started telling his story, like I was so into everything that he was saying, man. It's just really good, man. And it just goes to show you like what you don't know and how important this stuff is, especially when you love Chicago hip hop.
Yep.
And then it's on us for us to put that together and have everybody get pissed off at us because we didn't put it together the right way.
That's us.
It's
for us. We good.
No, but it's funny though because you know we talk, you know, there's so many, you know, one of the main things that we talk about in the film is the whole like segregation and the different, you know, the different sides of the city and this and that, and it's funny because there totally is important people who are doing things, you know, some pioneering things, some doing things on their own that other people may have been doing at the same time or doing without knowledge of whatever, you know, anybody else was doing. And it's funny when we talk to a lot of people and we get the, you know, well, this is how we were doing it, and you know, we were the only ones doing it. It's like, well,
and I don't know that person. I didn't know that person.
Yeah,
he's not important.
Right. So
yeah, that's when I'm kind of like, well, that's the whole fucking point of the film. So
yeah, for sure.
Right. So we follow
truths come crumbling down.
Well, luckily, you know, it's an archival project. So basically, we are archiving all these important stories. And say if it doesn't make the film, I mean, it's made the archival project. Like this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing with this stuff, is being able to house it and have it for people to research. So
ultimately, what people need to understand is the interviews, while what happens with the movie, or if we do an extended part of the film, or whatever the case happens, people need to know that the interviews we're doing, we don't plan on sitting on any of this information. At some point, ultimately, once we clean up the interviews, and by cleaning up, meaning we're not editing the interviews per se of taking anything or leaving anything out. Cleaning up, meaning like, you know, cutting it together instead of like all the little gaps that we have sitting around, or doing a new take or resyncing or different things like that. But other than that, once we put all that together, people are going to have access to all the information at some point. We don't know when, but there will be a time when people have access to every interview. That's ultimately our goal. Would you not agree, Ryan?
Yeah, oh, for sure. All the interviews will be up for everybody to access, whether it's to read or whether it's to watch or whatever. But yeah, we're not gonna cut anything at that point out of, you know, cut any content out of that. We're going to use bits and pieces from these interviews to put together a documentary for people to watch. But then from them, you know, hopefully people who don't know Chicago hip hop will be more interested into learning more, and hopefully people within the city will be interested, you know, will be wanting to learn more. Hopefully people that we've interviewed will want to learn more about some of these people that they may not know about. So
what is interesting too is, like Sean said, is how someone was like, well, some people, we ran into people that are like, this is what we were doing, and they didn't know that anything else was going on, and they kind of felt like that's the truth of Chicago hip hop, when they didn't know there's actually another whole scene going on in another part of the city. And each individual story is, you know, when you see these interviews, it's their truth. of the Chicago hip hop story. It's their story. It's their truth. You might not have known about it, but it's their truth, and everything's obviously subjective. But people's opinions of what was what and where and when and how. We try to pin down times and facts to everything, and we also do our fact checking to make sure that people aren't telling us stories when something sounds a little maybe like fishy, or like, oh, that's so crazy. We double check and we cross reference with several people. So just so people know, we are fact checking with things as well.
Yep. Following Ruthless Rod, we had the Microphone Misfits in. So shout out to D-Nick and everybody there. That was a cool interview.
That was a really good interview.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep. So knocked off another group, and then we did an interview over the weekend with the legendary Villain, who I can personally say that I was aware of. I knew that he had a more significant place in the history of Chicago hip hop, but didn't quite know to what extent until we did that interview. It was very, very good interview.
I didn't know either. I knew Villain from the commercial one, because Villain broke on commercial radio in the 90s with Set Trippin', and also from the second album, Listen to My Flow. But like that first album was really big on, three major stations really kept it in heavy rotation. That was Pink House, KKC, and then Pink House at 950, and then traveling on to 106 Jams. That was one of the most, I would say, the year that came out, the summer that came out, and I can't remember exactly what year. Actually, hold on one second. It looks like
it's a 95.
I'm looking at it. 94. So yeah, 94. That's summer 1994. It was so that probably was 950, because I don't think 106 Jams was out. But I remember it being on 106 Jams too. I remember specifically. But that being said, it was in heavy rotation on Chicago rap radio and commercial radio, and I always felt, he had the video, and it was heavy on the box, and I always felt like he was, like he was just a big artist, and he was Atlantic, and he had massive distribution. Like he said, how big he was outside of Chicago too. He said he wasn't even quite sure how big he was here. He knew that he was reaching really heavy on the West Coast and in the South and in New York and stuff too. But he goes back all the way to one of the original members of Worldwide Posse, which is a legendary founding Chicago hip hop group. Plus, he was very close. He was in a group with JMD, Fast Eddie, and legendary Cool Rock Steady called America's Most Wanted. It was a short-lived project. But he did a lot of work with Fast Eddie doing hip hop production too.
Yep. So yeah, so we've had some good interviews here over the last week. As we continue, and again, for anybody watching this, listening to this, again, we are still in production, and as much as I don't want to work on this and make this my life for the next 10 years, we are still in production. We're still working on it. So, if we haven't gotten to your interview yet, if we told you we're doing your interview, we're doing your interview. So just be patient, because it's a small crew. And with that being said, small crew, small resources to do this thing. So I'm going to do a little plug here, since this is our platform to do so. There's a couple different ways that you can support the project if you are so interested in. You can go to patreon.com/midwaydoc. That's patreon.com/midwaydoc. And for this, as little as like $3, $5 a month, price of a cup of coffee or water, man.
Thanks, baby.
You guys can help support us, and every little bit goes to helping to pay for parking and web hosting and storage and all that kind of stuff. If equipment breaks and we got to replace it, anything like that. And the cool thing is that we're putting up some that's where we're putting up some of the exclusive content that Risky was just talking about. Nothing is going to go to waste, so we're putting up a lot of stuff on that, so check that out. And then the other way is to help us through buying some merchandise. We've been a lot of people are really digging a lot of the shirts and stuff that Sean Doe and myself have been coming up with, and the entire team, of course. But Sean and I are the designers putting the stuff together. So, man, thank you everybody for your support for that.
Shout out to local filmmaker Kevin Epperson. I saw him purchase one, and he purchased a long sleeve version of the Sean Doe Midway logo treatment. So,
yeah.
Yep,
and we're gonna put in anybody watching, if you got some merch, man, if you got a shirt, take a photo of it, dude, send it so we can share it through Midway social media. So if you're not following us on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Midway Doc, and again that's midwaydoc.threadless.com is where you can find some of our fine merchandise at. But somebody who's been a really, really great supporter for us for the project since the beginning is with us sitting here tonight. So I want to talk to him and his background and what he's got going on now. So PozLyrix, man, thank you so much for sitting in with us tonight.
All good, man. And just based off what you guys are saying, like for me, just seeing like who artists are messing with, and who I've never known about, or might predate me. I really can't wait to see what you guys lay out for us, because I'm a fan as well, grow up, listening to all this shit. So, I can't wait for it as well.
Well, and I'll state this.
I'll wait it out.
I'll state this, that the idea of us too, because people are like, man, you guys know a lot. And while I feel I did know a lot, I'm going to put my headphones on. While I feel I did know quite a bit going into it, everything I thought I knew, to a degree, if I thought I knew a lot, I didn't know shit. I think even Kevin Beecham and Sean Doe can agree with me on that. Like, we've learned so much. So,
yep. It's people
been educational for us.
It's people that I thought I did know personally, but through their stories, like, I've learned so much more about them. So, yeah, man, this is definitely a learning experience too. So.
Well, I think any documentary is a passion project. People, you don't, like it or not, you don't do a documentary to make money. So I think that the fact that all of us are, history nerds, music nerds, Chicago hip hop nerds in general, obviously that interests us, and we want to take care more than some other topics that we could be covering. That being said, just what you guys said, for as much as we know, putting the thing together, we're still learning more every time, and that's the cool thing. And I think the really cool thing that I like to see, just kind of being the director, is that especially the three of us have been working on this project the longest, and we still haven't lost our enthusiasm on the thing.
No,
not at all.
We've definitely had our patience tested, that's for sure. and that's daily, but
I can't even imagine what you guys are going through with that.
Yeah, I've literally had people tell me that they would not want to be in the position that we're in. And I told them that's why we're in this position, because we're supposed to be here, We are.
Yeah.
Well, we praise you guys for it, man.
Well, thank you, Poz. Let's talk about you a little bit.
All right.
You and Seven Odds.
I don't know, man. What's up? You guys got any questions or what?
Well, obviously, with the Midway Radio, we don't get too deep into stuff that we cover in the interview, because that stuff will kind of come out. We'll touch a little bit on some of this stuff, but it's like I said, it's kind of more casual. But Seven Odds, explain to people that might not know what Seven Odds is and the terror that you put upon this city.
Well, I guess in a nutshell, Seven Oddities was started back in 2000 by Dream Tech. He's the brainchild, and his definition of why he started Seven Odds was, he was sick of reaching out to studios. They're not having the money, or producers not wanting to mess with them. So he took it upon himself to become that. Like, he's self-taught. You know, he started out as an MC. Or if you want to take it back to he didn't produce. He wasn't an engineer, you know. And, you know, fast forward to that, you know, he's obviously one of my favorite producers. He does our videos. He's our IT man. He does our websites. I mean, he kind of learned all that. And my introduction probably takes us back 7 years ago. You know, me and my guy Scenic Roots, we were in a group called Bottom Dollar Scholars, and we're working with a much smaller producer, you know, with his own. So he had much control beats. It's just kind of what he made. And, you know, we're out doing those consistently. And Dream Tech and Prone, you know, who goes by Tony Patagonia now, but, you know, we were on the same circuit with them. And, you know, after Dream seeing what we were about, he kind of just snatched us up, you know, caught us in the studio one day and just showed us what he had to offer, you know, and it's all kind of done from there, you know. So it's been my home ever since. And, you know, more recently, in the last year, we kind of, you know, we took it upon ourselves to become a legitimate company, you know. So me, Tony Patagonia, Tech are the co-founders officially of Seven Oddities. So that's
awesome.
Kind of where we're at right now.
Good for you guys.
You know, we got, you know, all the money we're investing, we figure we might as well get it on paper. You know what I'm saying? It's coming out of our pockets.
That's smart.
Yeah, I mean,
shit, you can write it off in taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, but you know, one thing I was gonna say about you, Seven Odds in particular, I personally like is you guys were like putting a foot down with keeping like Chicago, keeping an edge to you. You guys were like, not only were you guys like fuck soft rap and soft rappers. Which look, I like my vibey rappers too, but
vibey rappers,
right? but
what's a vibey rapper there, Chad?
Very opposite of what Seven Odds do. Those guys are
good answer, Chad.
Yeah,
good answer.
Dudes that aren't quite on the street shit as these guys, but you know. And here's the thing, one thing about Seven Odds is every time you think that, if you ever think that like it's not on some real shit, just go follow Dream Tech on social media or Scenic Roots or any of these guys and just see the waste, the mental waste they do to human beings on social media.
I mean, we were raised on that gritty, you know, hardcore street boom bap, you know, we were fans of that. So, and
that's what you guys make.
It's exactly natural. I mean, that's make. You know, that's what we're into. So I mean, we're not gonna conform to what people want to hear. This is the shit we want to hear. This is what we want to listen to. So it's natural. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's no formula. You know, it's just. I mean, it just so happens that we surround ourselves with the same kind of people. You know, we're the closest of homies now. Like I said, you know, some of us just met, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and we kick it just like we're brothers. You know what I'm saying? We just
For sure.
Click, you know.
You're not gonna. You and Dream aren't gonna do an album over vibey beats.
We might. I mean, shit. You never know, man. Anything's possible.
I was gonna say, is there anybody in the crew that's like, man, I really want to go this direction, which is maybe a different direction for them or for the crew, and you guys have been like, go for it.
See, no, you know what? I feel that's like kind of a misconception amongst us, because a lot of people, they got the you know, you had the 40-ounce Kings, which was like gutter ass shit, or the Out for Blood, you know, projects,
Out for Blood series, yeah.
Which I've only been around. There's been 3 different Out for Bloods, not counting the last, which was 4 volumes. But Out for Blood, in a nutshell, that's like the time we take when we want to be aggressive and get all this shit off our chest, you know.
Or that's murder rap.
I mean, you know, it kind of just goes that route. You know, it happened. It's like every 3 to 4 years that shit happens.
Hey, look, we need it. I love it. I enjoy it.
See, like, as for now, like, we just did fucking 4 volumes of it for Chapter 3. And as far as we're concerned right now, I don't see an Out for Blood in the foreseeable future. But obviously that can change with, shit that happens, throughout the next year or two. To answer Ryan's question or, about anyone wanting to go in a certain direction, I mean, that's never really, been a main thing that we expect out of our artists is just to stay hard as shit. I mean, Dream Tech's last album, Wizard of Oz. I don't think Dream can help but be a hard motherfucker, but like,
sure,
he kind of let go a little bit on it. He kind of got personal. He kind of, narrowed off that gritty path. Scenic Roots, 87 Chevy he dropped, which didn't make a lot of noise, but 87 Chevy from Scenic Roots is probably one of my favorite albums off of the out of the catalog.
It's super dope. I have it.
It's really bluesy. There's a lot of heart in it, and it's not too gritty except for in the end when he shoots his
the blue shit. The blue shit to me though is grit. I mean, you don't get much more gritty than blues music, so I guess it still kind of kept that to me.
Yeah. I mean, gritty in a different way. I mean, I totally know what you're saying.
No, yeah.
Mm. And honestly, with my upcoming release that I'm almost done with, I mean, if you listen to Chicago Native, which was about 4 years ago, there was 19 tracks of just like, all kinds of shit across the bar, and this new album, which I haven't named it yet, it's a little more personal, laid back, a little more mature, I guess. I mean, there's a couple hard tracks on there, but there's a lot of shit that was just, I was in my moment, and that's just the feeling I was having, and it wasn't really some hard ass shit, but I'm proud of it.
Do you have a certain method that you go through when putting together a project? Your solo project, is there a certain way that you go about it?
Yeah, someone asked me this question not long ago, and I know there's a lot of cats who they go into one whole album with an idea of where they're going with it, but I guess the best way to describe the way I work on an album is like it's like a bunch of short stories. You know what I'm saying? I'm not staying on the same path as something. I mean, I don't know. I guess Chicago Native might have been like that, where I kind of had an idea beforehand. But this one, like, I kind of just wanted to release some material, and I just started, doing solo joints, knocking them out, and where I want to go. But my mindset changed, and I kind of just went off the path at this point, and I just describe it as a bunch of short stories,
Awesome. You guys are, as a crew too, I mean, you guys all come out in full. And if I know I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head if I can name everybody, but I know it's obviously you, it's Scenic, it's Tech, Dream Tech, Tony Patagonia, and then also, is Doomsday still a part of the crew, or
Doomsday, Billy D. Buddha, Roy Hobbs.
Roy Hobbs, yep.
DC The Truth. My son, Coda Bender.
Yeah, nice. Buddy.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's, Dream Tech, myself, Tony Patagonia, Clever One. It's hard. It's hard to do one.
Yeah, it's a crew.
I mean, there's a lot of cats that are artists as well who are involved in the day-to-day functions.
I was
So how do you?
Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
So how do you guys like? You guys are a huge crew, basically. Do you guys like come together and write, or how do you guys maintain the crew?
Well, I mean, in the last 2 years, we've done numerous crew projects, and really, we wouldn't even call Seven Odds a crew. I mean, I don't know what the right word is for it, but we've done a lot of label projects. With I think about 3 or 4 overseas projects with full production by overseas producers, and they do the whole project, which you'll get probably 5 or 6 of us on it. Knock out an EP. So we've done a lot of crew projects, but after that and after Out for Blood, we kind of decided after that this year and the next year, we're just gonna be focused on we want everyone to stretch on their solo tip. So. We're trying to chill on the crew projects. I mean, as fun as they are, and it's when we all get in the studio together, I mean, that's the one thing about Out for Blood is that's kind of how we, help each other build. You know what I'm saying? Like, one person does a verse and he snaps hard as shit, and it's like, damn, I gotta come up with something harder than that. And it just builds like that. Like I said, there's so many of us and we kind of just it's kind of a lot of competition amongst ourselves. Just to better each other.
I'll tell you what, because I was aware of your guys' crew for quite a while. I think I first met you through Prime. Years and years ago, but it was a 40 Ounce Kings thing is where I came through the crib one time.
That was the North Coast
stuff. Yeah. But and I'd seen what you guys are doing, and then Mike One would call me and always be like, yo, I swear to God, Poz and Dream and Seven Odds are my fucking heroes. Those guys are nuts. Like the way, from the combination of the music you guys have put out to how you guys lived it, how you guys backed everything up social media wise and everything. We really discussed that a lot about you guys, but I'll tell you what, one of the most interesting things that I ever seen in Chicago hip hop was it was kind of like, when like a G Unit or something gets a big artist, right? And they sign a new artist. I thought, holy shit, you guys got a heavyweight when you guys picked up Doomsday. Because I was always a big fan of Doomsday, and I was like, Jesus, Doomsday went with Seven Odds. I'm like, oh, shit just got really real.
Doomsday, that was major. Doomsday,
it was like a big trade in the NBA or some shit, without free agency signing.
Yeah, we got him from the Cypher Bullies.
Yeah.
No, but he came in on the Fallout Shelter sessions, and that was a project that we did where Dream Tech, where we would invite in 4 or 5 artists, and it would be a straight crew banger. Dream Tech, he would make the beat on the spot. And then all the artists would have to write their verses on the spot, record them on the spot, and then we even do a video at the end. And Doomsday came in. Honestly, Doomsday came in on one of those. Clever came in on one of those. Billy D. Buddha and Roy Hobbs. I mean, we've known them for a long time, but they're involved in those. I mean, a lot of them guys who've been through the camp came through those. And we didn't really do that with the idea of plucking all the dope ones or nothing. I mean, they kind of came around and they kicked it and they vibe with us, and that's kind of.
I mean, you guys are organized, man. You guys, you guys. Sometimes people will look at you guys as kind of crazy or hardcore and everything, and which is definitely kind of a thing that is presented, but I think it's good. It's part of the Seven Odds kind of image, and it's dope to me because it kind of backs up the music. But that being said, I've seen some real shit. That being said, you guys are about your business, and you guys have always been on point about everything. And I can state that because I witnessed that firsthand. Again, bringing it back to Mike One, rest in peace, Mike. Mike would call me and be like, hey, well, we're going to do a show. Let's start reaching out to some people. And he was really excited to get you guys to do a show with us. And like he said, again, he was big fans, but yeah, I remember, being in the room with you guys, and I don't know who was with me, but I was down there. It's like, oh Christ, Seven Odds. I'm like, we might need extra security tonight.
We're down there with a fifth of Hennessy, bringing a 30-pack and a book bag, and
was that the Mob Deep show?
Our green room. That would have been, it was the Mob Deep show, I think.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
I want to say a couple quick shout outs to AF Twice watching us on YouTube, and Mood Swings, who says what's up, and we say what's up to him. He says he loves doing projects with you guys.
Oh, he loves Swings, man. He's a brother, basically. I mean, I wouldn't call him anything less. Maybe a little worse, but nonetheless. Peace to Swings, man. Love
Swings
is
dope.
That dude.
Swings is dope. He's batshit crazy, but he's dope. Love you, Swings.
I mean, there's so much I could say about Mike One. That Mike opened doors for me, myself, and our label that we just probably been still struggling with. he brought me on for his 15-year anniversary show, which you know how he likes to switch it up. He's like, you're gonna come in and at the end you're gonna do one verse over a drum solo with Shay Marie. And I'm like, all right, word, man. Whatever you want, man. Like,
Yeah.
and that was the introduction, and from there on,
he knew what was going to happen with his show. When we would do a show, it was planned out, and he knew even from what the other artists were going to do. You're lucky he didn't pick out your songs for you.
Yeah, he had a good handle on everything.
He was a good entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he loved you guys, and he was a big fan. So we were glad you guys got to rock with us. But but to go back to what I was stating is, I got to saw the professionalism. I mean, I obviously clearly joke and stuff with you guys being fucking 7 odds crazy shit. But like honestly, you guys are top notch professional crew. Organized. Dream is a fucking businessman, and he's about that shit. Like as far as like the proper. And to hear you say, oh, we're going and doing a legitimate company to handle things the proper way, like the people will see like the crazy gritty rappers and think like the crazy street kids, but no, I mean you guys, it makes sense to me seeing you guys sitting down doing paperwork, organizing shit out, because the biggest thing that I see is you guys have never taken this as a game. It's always been a real thing, a real life for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's where a lot of cats get it twisted. Like it's they look at it as just nothing more of a hobby, which that's how it started for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Started off rocking in ciphers with whoever the fuck at a kegger. I mean, to actually get in the studio, building our own studio. And actually, rehearsing day in, day out, booking, promoting our own shows and finding the venues, booking the acts and making the flyers. I mean, what I'm saying? We had to take it serious, I mean, and I really didn't see any other way to move forward with it, honestly.
I think all of us here say that we started off as a hobby, but if you want to do it, like you have to commit to it. You have to commit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to commit the time. You have to sacrifice a lot to if you want that to be if you want that to be your your source of living.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously you're going to put money up and you're not going to make that money back, but like, who's going to front you any money if you don't believe in yourself and come out of your own pocket? You guys know what it is. I mean, I ain't got to tell you guys, but
Yeah, no, for sure. Who's your favorite? I'm gonna put you on a spot right now. Who's your favorite rapper out of the crew?
Right now,
or you can tell me, or no, hold on. Well, no, I gotta be the hard question guy. That being said, you can also tell me to go fuck myself, and that's fine too.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I've been open about it. And I've been open about it. I've actually put it out there before on my Facebook. But Clever One is one of the hardest working artists we got right now.
That dude's so sick.
I don't even know it. Like, he'll bust out. He'll be in some kind of competition and shit. I'm like, damn, I didn't know you're in that. He did the backpack thing. He flew out to L.A. for that. Like, he needs someone like, not that we got to push anyone or we're trying to push anyone. We want people to go at their own pace, but when you take it upon yourself, to do these extracurricular activities, dude, it's like, hell yeah. Like, and not to mention, he's dope as hell, he's a dope ass artist and a great performer. I mean, yeah, I got to give it to Clever.
What other crews were influential to you guys? And I say that, I mean, I could say rappers and stuff, but I'm curious if you guys had any blueprint or idea of crews that you thought were doing it right, from Chicago specifically.
I mean, easily I could say Momen, from way back. The way I seen it as a fan, Chicago Rocks, all them, that shit like that. Like, I used to go to them shows and now it's like, man, like, this is how you do it, or
yeah.
Galapagos 4, I was big into Quell, Typical Cats, them. I'm going blank. Pugs and them. Pugs Adams. Just all the Mo School Cats Prime. Just how they all came up. Like I was a fan of all that. Back then. That's before I even thought of getting into booth. That was major inspiration to me. Like there was a point in time, like when I was into my hip hop shit, backpacker shit, like I had nothing but like Chicago CDs, all natural. Like I didn't know what was happening outside the city. Like I was all into Chicago hip hop, like
awesome.
That's why like what you guys are doing now, like I'm like shit, like I'm being put up on game like that. I never knew, I mean I'm 34 years old, you know what I'm saying? So I mean
it's a big city, man.
Young, but there's a lot going on that I had no idea about.
People tend to forget that we're one of the largest cities, not in the country, but in the world. So it's not like people shouldn't be surprised when they find out things they don't know. They should be like, oh, awesome. People, like, oh, dope. Like, let me learn.
I think it's hard. For us living in Chicago, it's hard for us to forget that too. Like a way I can describe it is, it's like back in the day with graffiti. You knew all the North Side crews. Like a lot of cats didn't do all city thing. They didn't go to the South Side. Like when I grew up in Jefferson Park, I didn't dare venture to the South Side that often. So like that was like a different world to me. You know what I'm saying? So like when you hear of these other crews out there doing it, back in the day it was all word of mouth, or you had to go out there and see for yourself. So like when you guys mentioned, how big our city is, you got the South Side doing this, you got the North Side doing that. Well, a lot of North Siders don't know about the South Side, and a lot of South Siders, vice versa, don't know about the North. So, and that's, you guys are kind of opening that up for all of us, I think.
You guys, while everyone's different rappers, and it's definitely a different era and time, you guys have some similarities in the kind of pedigree of a ill state, with the street hardcore Chicago rap, because there's been a lot of crews, but not a lot of crews that have been such like more of a hardcore crew. And specifically, I mean, Ill State, there's a song on E.C. Ill's record called Hardcore Crew. Mm-hmm. Or is that on the Chamber record? Because I'll have to double check that. I think it might be actually the Chamber record. But anyway, that being said, you guys kind of have a lot of similarities to that, or like a TSP too, wouldn't you say, Sean?
No.
Yeah, sorry.
So
I was waiting.
Because I live on the west side, sometimes there are sirens, and the sirens are going. But yeah, I definitely would say so. You are absolutely correct.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ill State, yeah, nothing but love for them, nothing but love for EC. He's he shows us a lot of love. I mean, and that's EC is one I could have named as well. Someone who laid the foundation for independent music. As a Chicago artist, I mean, he's definitely got a blueprint for that. So shout out to EC for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, EC and Ill State were very integral in very, very much in the kind of groundwork for the hardcore
hip hop.
Yeah, South Side. A lot of it started on the South Side, and the Chamber album, Making Illinois was a hardcore crew, which featured kind of the whole Ill State lineup. So, I mean that's kind of the pedigree that I think you guys come from. That I feel like.
I definitely agree with you, Chad.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Doesn't happen that much, but I agree.
Almost never.
Almost never. It's a good day. 27 show. Bam.
All right. This is our one of our awkward silences of Midway Radio. It'll happen from time to time since we kind of go on the fly. Well, sometimes because I go into a spew of questions, and then sometimes I'm like, well, maybe Ryan or Sean have questions.
Right.
So let me shut the fuck up.
sometimes we just like to wind Risky up and just let him go. So.
Oh Jesus!
I didn't fill him with enough comic books or music to play. So get going there, Chad.
Shot it. Anyway, yeah. So we were talking about obviously, influences and stuff, and you mentioned, and I mentioned what I thought you guys are similar to, but also, and you said EC. Who are some of the other, maybe hardcore Chicago rappers that you might have been influenced by?
Hardcore? I don't know.
Or did you listen? Because you mentioned obviously you were listening to. So let's go this route. I'm curious, since you mentioned that you were listening to a lot of Mole stuff and a lot of G4 stuff and everything, and you guys are hardcore, a hardcore kind of crew at some points, at least some of the music. Were you guys ever into, or you? I guess you're the only one here from the crew to answer, but were you into a lot of the West Side stuff, like Psychodrama and Do or Die, and some of the groups similar to that?
You know what? I mean, I honestly wouldn't say I was heavy into it. I mean, I definitely got mad respect for it, but
sure,
I kind of stay with the backpacker, type shit, when I was coming up. I mean, no disrespect to any of that shit. I mean, I'm down with all that shit, but it, back then, influence wise, I don't know, I didn't really drive influence on my route and my path of music. It's just, I guess I'm just an aggressive motherfucker getting a lot of shit off my chest. I don't know.
For sure. For sure. One of the things we talk about in the film is, and you guys have been part of that, the scene out and about, so to speak. And we talk about, the realness of Chicago as far as how we embrace hip hop. And Angie even says it in the film herself. She states how literal, Chicago hip hop is taken here, and how tough the battle scene is, and how, again, serious we are with hip hop. You go out to a open mic night, like a 606, and at Sub T, and they're cutting heads off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the scene? Do you feel the scene is still holding up to that, or?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's a 606. I didn't grow up going to 606 a lot, when I was younger. I mean, 606 was around forever, and I've been to my fair share of their open mics. But leading up to that, like I said, I think I got a lot of my my freestyle, ciphers and the battle shit out at parties and shit. It was
sure.
In your days, but I go there a lot. I pop in a lot now, and I see what's going on. And 606, it's it's like the breeding ground for the future. You know what I'm saying? I've gone there over the past, of course, 4, 5, 6 years now, and you see cats who were just popping up then, and they're kind of growing in there. You know what I'm saying? I think we're still holding it down. Especially with a lot of cats who are out, openly doing shows and putting out new projects. I think they're holding it down. And I think a lot of us that we lack, in Chicago is that, we got a lot of skill. We got the skill. I think a lot of cats just lack the professional aspect of it. And I think a lot of cats hold out on that. You know what I'm saying?
That kind of goes to it. Chicago's super raw. That's kind of sometimes what can separate you, because you have all the talent and you're super raw, but you don't have maybe the knowledge to present yourself or clean yourself up in a way that needs to be done for people to digest you outside of a 606 or so on. And that kind of leads me to my other question is, there's also this new wave because of kind of the internet again. We had this discussion, I believe, we've had it with a few people, and I thought it might have been Mike Terror, but one of the or Knowledge maybe, from Kids in the Hall, but we were discussing the fact that a lot of kids that are coming up completely skip because the way the system's set up now, they're skipping the open mic scene. They're skipping completely. And it's funny because, you know, people kind of get on them, but they don't actually have to do any of that for them to get on. And they still have talent. You know what I'm saying? There's kind of this weird, like, double-edged sword where they're getting on them and they're like, well, you're not paying your dues, but at the same time, I mean, and they're dope, but maybe they're not even aware of how that's something they need to be out doing, or maybe they are aware and they don't care. I'm just curious, how do you feel about how those kind of changes are?
I think I see that a lot more in kind of that new style of hip hop. You know, they're skipping that. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like they're taking that knowledge, you know, that business knowledge, and they're applying that like early on in their careers. You know what I'm saying? So like they kind of like, you know, it's like I don't know, you might call it the gifted class. Like they didn't have to do the ciphers and all the little, you know, dead ass shows. Like but that's great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, there's a lot to learn there. And yeah, you know, I don't know. I guess it kind of seems like people don't get the chance to sharpen their sword, you know, per se. You know,
well, it's a sport. Rap's a fucking sport.
It is.
But I don't even know if the newer kids even consider it a sport versus they're trying to get their art out there and make this or get these YouTube views or get this money from these views. Like, I don't know if we've done our jobs as elders to teach them the culture.
Right.
And I don't even think that the culture has, or our culture, or what we know or hold as hip hop, like that culture even pertains to them kind of. I think they created a new culture that's surrounded by something else. So
I mean, I don't want to say that, you know, the people, you know, our predecessors dropped the ball on not passing on that certain kind of knowledge that was instilled in me, you know, when I started out. You know, someone who, you know, like prior to MySpace or Facebook, like, you know, you kind of had to lay it down. Like you had no other option but to get out there and go. You know, you didn't have YouTube, or you couldn't buy views or all that shit they got now. Which, I mean, more power to them. You know, they're using it to their, you know, to better them. I mean, to get ahead. You know, I mean, we can all learn from that as well. I mean, I'm not salty at them as well, but you know, you look at these guys who are just garbage. You know, these trap rappers who like they fucking. There's no skill to their lyrics whatsoever, and fucking they're at the top. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, good for them. You know what I'm saying? But
no, and I'm sure as a rapper who is a rapper like yourself, who is a lyricist and a practice, you know, sword sharpening rapper, so to speak. You know, I'm sure that's got to sometimes be frustrating. I mean, shit, I definitely see Dream Tech post like other people, you know, his opinions, which I laugh. It's great, you know. But I'm curious too, to that point what you guys are talking about. I wonder how many of them actually do know and just don't care, because at this point, you know, like, put it this way. Here's the thing, and again, it's kind of like the whole, like, it's how it means to you, right? What certain things mean to you. Because if some of these kids, okay, if we had a show 10 years ago, you absolutely had to go to some BS like printer and get flyers printed, and hopefully you spent the money to get double-sided, not some advertisement on one side for some crappy place. And then, you know, then you had to go out and you had to wait for clubs to open to let out, and then you had to personally hand out flyers. And that was a process that not only cost you money, it cost you time. You couldn't even, like, I mean, your night didn't start promoting until 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So that was a process that is almost completely gone now. I don't remember the last time I seen somebody hand me a flyer, legitimately, like being out.
Yeah.
And that's these kids, because of social media, and half of them know how to use, you know, I'm not saying it's good art, you know, good work, but they have the ability.
Damn.
There goes the shelf.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you didn't do it. No, it's you know, some of them have a basic ability to create a flyer or a plugger themselves, and they don't even have to pay anybody to do that. And boom, social media, if they got a good following, it's a wrap.
Yep.
They don't even have to leave the house.
I mean, when it comes to flyers, man, I mean, shout out to people like Mood Swings and White Jesus. Like, shows we do, man, you know, we still press up flyers, and we'll still hit up the shows and hand them out hand to hand, you know. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but like you said, if you got the ability and you got the following, you all right over there, man? Shit.
Yeah, man, just about 70 fucking Blu-rays fell down, but it's okay. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, but
bloopers.
If you got the ability and you got the following, yeah, more power to you. Like, but I'm not against going out and handing out flyers hand to hand. You know, like, especially when it's your show and they see you out handing flyers. I mean, I guess it might be a little more enticing to actually come out.
I mean, that was the beauty of doing. I did promo for years. You know, even before I started working, when I first started working with All Natural, like, that's really what I was there for. I was there to help with the promotions. It's such a personal thing when you give somebody a flyer and they know what you're about. Like, if I give you an All Natural flyer, you know what you're coming to get. And then once you see me, like, if I'm on stage DJing, it just allows the person to feel good about the next time you hand them a flyer. And that's just not there anymore.
Kind of a personal connection, you know.
It's definitely a personal connection.
Is that what it is, Sean? People like what they heard from you and wanted to hear more, or?
I think first of all, the branding already.
I'm just giving you shit. That really wasn't a serious question. But please continue your thought.
Well, what I was just gonna say was, it's all about branding. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
True. I agree.
Chad, you all right over there?
He's he has to unmute his mic. There we go.
I know I'm muted.
He doesn't want. Oh, you was trying to play me? I get you.
I wasn't playing you.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't even listening to you.
He's letting all that
Back to the influence thing that Risky was talking about before. You know, we always go to kind of the typical stuff. Who are some non-hip hop influences in your career, whether it be artistically or even business wise, with how you guys set up the label and everything going around there?
I mean, not musically, business wise. I you know, my regular 9 to 5 is plumbing and, you know, sewer business, and I've been, you know, supervising that for about 10 years. So I've had my hands on actual business, you know, the actual publicly relating with customers. You know, I mean, I'm kind of like that person when it comes to 7 odds, like, you know, like Dream Tech, these people, like, they don't like people too much, you know. So like, I'm kind of the face, you know, when it comes down to like actual reaching out and meeting people business wise and putting on a happy face and making us like someone you want to work with, you know, and trusting us at your fucking venue or something. So, you know, I know how to handle myself properly. I'm not saying they don't, but you know, a lot of it's been just when it comes to what we're doing as a business. And like I said, we're a fresh, brand new business as of this year, so we're still figuring it out a lot. You know, there's still a lot. We're still learning and you know, like I said, it's just going to be a learning process from here on out, and it's something that we all decided that we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? So we're learning it, you know, and we intend on getting better at it as the years progress on, even down the line. You know, we don't have any intention of slowing up. You know, whether or not making music, you know, we're gonna have a hand in 7 out of these records, and we definitely want it to be something that's you know, that's in Chicago to stay for as long as possible.
Any plans or anything in that you're trying to put in place that might surprise people with what you're doing with Seven Odds, or right now you just strictly you kind of focus on the music?
Yeah, is Dream Tech producing a Macy Gray album or something?
I don't know if he Dream is working on all kinds of stuff. I mean, honestly, Dream is he's growing as a producer, as an engineer, like you wouldn't believe.
He's dope, dude. I see his posts. He's dope. I mean, outside of the music that's out, I see the shit that doesn't get out. He's dope.
Like I said, like he has his hands on almost everything. You know, I got so much respect for the dude. Like, you know, I wish I could do half the shit he does for the label. You know, doing our videos, editing our videos. I mean, like I said, we just recently upgraded our studio, so we're able to handle, you know, live bands and shit like that. I mean, and for that, I mean, when I'm done with this album, I mean, I have a live band that I've been working with over the past 2-3 years.
So
that's going to be my next project. You know, I'm going to get in with the live band, and not just the live band around PozLyrix. Like, I want to be conditions as see what we can come up with, you know.
Nice.
So, you know, as far as the other artists goes, I mean, there's stuff in the works. You know, some guys they've yet to drop their first solo, you know, album off the label, so we're waiting on that with them, and hopefully there's just growth based off of that with everyone else.
You guys, I mean, you said you worked with stuff overseas. Have you guys worked with a lot of artists outside of Chicago, from other scenes, whether it's Detroit, LA, New York, or whoever, Philly, who knows, wherever?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked, you know, I mean, obviously in the Midwest, you know, we got people down in St. Louis, Iowa, Wisconsin, Detroit. I got people out in LA, New York. I mean, nothing that we've done anything concrete, but there's, you know, we exchange each other's out, and we definitely respect each other's artists. Nobody I could name off the top, but we definitely actions out there.
If you can do a record with a Chicago rapper, give me like 3 Chicago rappers if you could do records with that aren't part of your crew, that like aren't like people you necessarily even know. Like, I mean, maybe you can know them, but like, you know, dream people.
I think I'd like to rock with Fest if I get up with Rhyme Fest. I know this guy. He's like a straight no, like a totally done, never coming back ever. But East and think of another one. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I'm so like involved in what we're doing as like a label. It's like it's hard to wrap my head around it.
Sure, for sure.
I'm not just saying that is, but like, people, I'm so late to it. You know, I get around to it, but like, it's just, you know, when I'm trying to check out what this guy's working on and see where he, you know, trying to give him ideas. It's hard to just get out and actually be a fan. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
I got my son jumping on the bed back here. It's like a bedtime shit.
Oh, I thought Sean was saying something, but apparently not.
Sean, do you have something to add? Are there sirens currently?
No. Were you talking to me?
No. We were talking. I was talking to Sean Doe.
So what? So how far along are you on your current project?
I probably got him out. I mean, I'm pretty much done.
I like your razor.
Thank you. I mean, I want to keep it short and simple. You know, I want to keep it around 9-10 tracks, like very short. So I'm pretty much done, honestly. But I'm waiting on a couple more verses, you know, a couple possible collabs. And I'm not going to wait too long. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done on my end. I just got to, you know, do a little legwork shit, you know, get the artwork done, do a couple videos. And...
Nice.
Is your son going to rap, Poz?
I mean, he can do whatever he wants. You know, I don't know. It's possible. You know how that goes. I mean, if the 7 odds, I mean, at 7 oddities, like, what, me, Dooms, Clever, Arkin, Billy D. Buddha, like, we're all fathers. It's like 5. Most of us are fathers now. My son's 3.5 years old. I can't believe who knows what's going to happen, man.
Oh, my God.
I mean, they'll definitely be raised around it more so than I was, you know what I'm saying? So who knows what's going to happen.
Wow, grow up, be like Dad, just spit bars.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh, teach the children.
That's the weird thing about we do. That's the weird thing about our generation here is that we're starting to see the shorties come up and be involved more. So that's kind of crazy.
For sure, man. You guys are fathers, huh?
I'm not.
I am not. I'm just looking at everybody else.
Not I. I think that's why we can.
That's why we can do the film.
That's why we can do the film.
I heard in your fucking voice that you guys ain't fathers. You guys are looking at me like, oh, back there, fucking nuts. I had to give him a bag of candy, keep him in the other room and shit. You know?
Awesome.
Look at this guy. And Poz is out there going to MCs. I'm the father of your styles.
Yeah, so.
Look at that guy. I love him. That's awesome.
Any shows coming up?
Shy. No, I don't have anything booked as of yet. Yeah, once I get the album locked, and then I'm gonna start hitting the shows again. Actually, even been had some small talk with a few people about doing a little tour in springtime. You know, not just 7 odds, but a couple of the other guys on the scene. Go out and make some damn noise. You know what I'm saying?
Tell Dooms to get this album done.
I already got one done. I mean, he's got a Spanish album that he's had done for a while.
That's
no
sick.
shit. That's dope.
Full Spanish. I mean, it's like I don't speak Spanish, but I mean, it sounds dope as hell. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
But he's got another project that I think he's wrapping up as well. I think it's an EP, but he's about to drop a couple on y'all. I mean, I love Dooms, man. Like. You know Dooms from the battle circuit, and like this is like he's got that same kind of approach with his writtens, man. Like he just like some of the most simple analogies he makes. I don't know how he just squeezes them in there, man. I just love hearing what he's got written sometimes.
Doom's last solo album was really dope. Shout out to Funk. He produced it, and it was really dope. I don't know how far or what they did with it much, but Funk One produced it, and it was it was some dope. Doomsday Boom Bap.
Yeah, he was messing with Funk prior to coming with us, and I heard exactly what you're talking about, and I mean it's
dope. I got it sitting out somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely up that angle, but like I said, like stuff ready. Everyone does, honestly. Everyone's hard at work right now.
So,
I mean, Arkin, I forgot Arkin 9. I forgot to name him too. That's my homie. I can't believe I forgot him. But yeah, Arkin 9's about rap. He's wrapping up an album too. I mean, honestly, we're about to just start dropping them on you guys left and right. I mean, everything that's wrapping up as we speak. So a lot of that solo stuff's going to be hitting end of the year, early next year. So I mean, we'll definitely have some stuff to keep everyone busy from the oddities.
Beautiful. we're gonna get now into our this or that. We do not have the music with us, which will be added in later. But we're just gonna ask basic questions. Since I know you are clearly a Cubs fan, as I am, which, if anybody's interested, they're up 8-1 right now.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Bryant hit another homer, and so did Javi. I'm gonna ask you. We have the Cubs are a very young core group. I'm gonna ask you of two of the youngest kids, this or that, Javi or Wilson.
Javi. I like them both, but I mean, I like both their aggression and their attitude, and they're both way into it, and I love that.
MLB has Javier Baez as one of the most fun players to watch in baseball. I couldn't agree more. He's literally a blast to watch play baseball. If you're not a Cubs fan and you're not watching Javier Baez, you're missing out.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're a baseball fan, you got to be up on stuff. I mean, it's fun to watch, like you said.
Without a doubt. All right, what you got, Ryan?
Seeing as 7 Odds is a nice crew of just dope producers and MCs and everything. Who do you like better, Eric Sermon's Def Squad or PMD's Hit Squad?
I'm a Def Squad guy. I love the Def Squad.
Pretty good answer.
I think I'd go that route too. But.
I think everybody'd go that route.
So
everybody always hating on PMD.
Hey, why don't you throw him another meatball?
PMD just dropped an album too, so
I haven't heard it.
Hate on the Hit Squad. No, I think it just came out like this Tuesday. So
I did just speaking of new music, and does not Chicago, but a couple things that I was listening to. The new Rock from Helter Skelter, his solo album, is really dope. I highly suggest that.
He always do crazy,
definitely.
And an album with some Chicago ties. Nolan the Ninja.
Yeah, Nolan's pretty dope.
Nolan, that album is really dope. It's got Denmark Vesey and Ad 2 and a few other people on it. So
here's a Chicago fact about. Well, I think it's a Chicago fact about Nolan the Ninja. So Nolan is he's from Detroit, but he's a super nerd. He likes comic book stuff like that. And there's a guy that lives here by the name of Shanimals. He created this little ninja world, and I think Nolan the Ninja has something to do with Shanimals, the ninjas that Shanimals created. So Shanimals is from here. He's a really good friend of mine, and I'm pretty sure because I told Nolan my guy created those ninjas, and he just kind of wilded out. So big ups to Nolan's the Ninja.
That's dope. And then Denmark Vesey's featured, and Denmark Vesey's another Detroit MC, but lived here for quite a while.
Quelle also.
Denmark Vesey is dope as hell. Yep. He's a homie. He's one of the homies.
Right. So sorry, Sean, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead with yours.
So earlier you were talking about working with a live band.
Mm-hmm.
Live band or traditional beats like MPC?
Live band. Oh man, you know what? I love rocking over traditional beats, but I mean, the best way, when people ask me why do I want to work with a band, it's the best way I can describe it is say you're at a festival, you know what I'm saying? And on one side, one stage you got the live band rocking over there, and over here you got someone rocking with a DJ. I'm gonna gravitate to the live band. I mean, nothing sounds better than live instruments, so I'm a huge Roots fan, you know what I'm saying? So I love that shit, and
it gives you more freedom.
It's a little more complicated and complex. I know you guys have a lot of experience with that, but it's fun, man. I mean, and just especially because when you're working with just a producer and it's just, I don't know, it keeps you confined, I guess. I mean, just when you got a band full of musicians, and you got a guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer, and everyone's got their own input, and once everyone's feeling it, it comes together. It's beautiful music. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I have another one for you. Jake or Elwood?
Elwood, man. It's gotta be Elwood.
Beautiful.
Did you I mean you saw the Chicago Native video, right? I mean, me and Roots,
Of course.
Blues Brothers. I mean,
that's exactly why I asked you that question. Absolutely. Yeah, no, and I thought that was super dope. Yeah, no, that's a classic, dude. That's super dope, dude. I love that.
We did that like in the beginning. It was like the dead of winter on a Sunday downtown. It was like the typical like scenery of Chicago, an empty, you know, Chicago downtown. It's fucking windy as hell, blowing fucking newspapers around. Like we're in our suits, trying to like, you know, act like we're not fucking cold, but we got our like winter jackets laying on the ground out of the shot, you know. So every time they cut, we're fucking throwing our jackets on, jumping in the car. It was so cold. I picked like the worst places. Like we went to Wrigley. We were downtown at the Art Institute. I mean, we went down by Montrose Harbor. I mean, these are shots I wanted to get, but like when it came time to doing them, man, it just had to be the fucking worst day possible. It had to be like a wind chill of like 20 below down there. I mean, it was terrible.
That's crazy. Here, so I had one earlier, like Ryan, Bumpy Knucks and MOP.
Say what?
Bumpy Knuckles or MOP?
Bumpy Knuckles or what?
MOP.
You're breaking up.
The Mash Out Posse.
Oh man, MOP, man, shit, dude. You already know, man. I mean, yeah. There you go. You just like lob that one up to me. You know what I'm saying? You know I was gonna like grab that shit.
That's a meatball. Hey,
yeah.
That's who would be a dope combo. Is a Dream Tech beat with MOP and you guys, you and Scenic and everybody.
Dude. You know, that's honestly been like if MOP ever comes to the shot, like we got to be on that bill. You know, I mean, I would just love to be in that fucking crowd. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen them live before, man. I've missed out. Like, I mean,
they've been to the Metro. They've been to the Metro a couple times.
Yeah, I remember. I think they did the House of Blues with their band. Remember what was the name of their band?
Yeah.
It was like a metal band they did.
Yeah.
I forgot. They put out the whole record, but I have it. It's that gray album.
Well, they did the
Shiner Massive.
Shiner Massive.
Yeah. Well, sir.
Anyway.
Yes. At this point, we will now wrap up. Carry on, Ryan.
No, before we close, of course, got to talk about the quick couple of sponsors. Our main sponsor for the Midway podcast is Shure Microphones. So thank you to Shure for giving us a couple of their Motive mics, their Motive podcast mics to use for this show. And Midway, we've got more interviews coming up this week, and just kind of like anything else, keep following us on Twitter and on Instagram, Midway Doc, and go check out some of the shirts we got at midwaydoc.threadless.com. Any money that's made after Threadless takes their cut goes to helping us, so check that stuff out. And man, Risky, where can people find you at if they're looking for you?
At DJ Risky Biz 1975 Instagram and DJ Risky Biz Twitter, and Chad Sorensen on Facebook.
Sean Doe,
Rasan Sean Doe Hawkins on Facebook, and at DJ Sean Doe on Instagram and Twitter.
You can find me at 278 Media on Twitter and Instagram. The number is 278 and Media. And follow us on Midway Doc. Go to midwaydocumentary.com for all the links. Midway Doc on Twitter and Instagram. Poz, if people are looking more for your stuff and 7-On stuff, where do they go to find that?
You can find the number 7 PozLyrix.com. You can find me at PozLyrix at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can get just about anything on the website as well. Also at 7ODDZ on Twitter.
Dope. And I don't want you to I don't want you to feel left out either, even though Carlos, who is our normal main producer / co-host of Midway Radio, is not here tonight. He has already started on your illustration, and I got a little sneak preview of that. So that is coming. There, Poz will be joining the ranks.
My little
of the
parting
others,
gift.
immortalized in cartoon fashion.
Man, I appreciate it.
But anyway,
shout out to the whole Seven Odds crew, and obviously, we would love to get some of those guys on the podcast too. So Dream and Patagonia and all those guys.
Reach out and fucking ball of fun too.
Oh yeah, I can vouch for that.
Cool. Well, Poz, man, thanks again for coming out with us tonight, dude. It was fun, and we appreciate you taking the time to chat with us for a while.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
I'm gonna go put all my fucking movies back since they fell down all over the floor.
Go Cubs. I'm gonna watch them knock this game out.
Yes. All right, guys. Until next week, we'll be back. More Midway Radio. Check us out. Peace.
All right, peace out.